Hey Critical Analysis, this is your video for your Chapter 5 assignments. So your Chapter 5 assignment video, I am in the lessons folder and I have gone to week 4. And so we're going to scroll down and all of this information is going to be in the to submit folders where we're going to be looking. So in here you have your week 4 discussion board post. This is going to be due for week 4 attendance by Wednesday the 29th. And you're answering this question. Now that we're halfway through the semester, because by the time that you are supposed to post this, we will be halfway through week 4, which means we are halfway through our semester already. Evaluate what you think is going well and what needs improved so far in the course. And be honest, this is my first time, as I mentioned before, teaching this class in 8 weeks fully online. It honestly usually isn't offered this way, so I think it's just something a little different that the college did this particular summer semester. So just let me know. I know there's a lot of work and I kind of tried to structure it the best I could, but if you see things that I could tweak if I ever have to teach it this way again, let me know. And I can even maybe make adjustments moving forward if I'm able to do so. Or if you don't want to talk about, what I can do, you can talk about how are you doing? How are you doing with your goals and your progress? If you filled out that informal, if you remember back in week 1, that optional or suggested activity of the strength and areas of improvement, if you filled that out, or you can kind of just think back to what you had for yourself set at the beginning of the semester, how's it going? Are there things that you want to do differently? Do you need to make adjustments? Now that we're several weeks in and hopefully you've got like the pacing of everything going well, just kind of reflect, take a couple minutes, type out some reflections on how the course is going. Again, that's due by Wednesday the 29th for week 4 attendance. All right, so even though we only have 1 chapter this week, there are still several assignments. You have your text and skill sheet, which is normal, your vocabulary quiz, which again is normal, and then you have 2 practice sheets because this is a very heavy chapter, very hard-hitting reading comprehension type of information. Main ideas and then supporting details. And so I did plug a homework in for each of those concepts. So you'll see the main idea and you'll see supporting details. I'll talk about those here in just a little bit. And then you have 2 mastery skills assessments to also work on that are directly tied to chapter 5. So a lot going on this week, even though it's only 1 chapter. So let's go ahead and go through these one by one. Chapter 5 text and skill sheet. So as always, like your actual document is right here, and then you'll have the Dropbox right underneath that. So let's go ahead and get our chapter 5 text and skill sheet up and moving here. So part 1, this is just kind of like reviewing what are these concepts, what do these mean? So it's really making you just kind of think about in your own words the concepts from this chapter. All of these were already discussed in the lecture video, so you're welcome. If you haven't watched that yet, make sure you watch the lecture video or go back and refer to the PowerPoint, go back into your textbook, go back to your notes, wherever you need to go. So you're going to tell me what a topic is, because a topic and a main idea are not the same thing. So what is a topic? And then what is a main idea? What are supporting details? And then what are the 3 questions that you ask to help find the main idea? So I've talked about all of these things in the lecture video and your PowerPoint and your textbook. So multiple places you can find those answers. Okay. Part 2, apply the skill. If you, again, depending on when you watch these videos, I talked in the vocabulary video how you will have all 3 selections part of your vocabulary this week because they're also on the text and skill sheet. So regardless, you're going to be seeing these particular readings. So we're going to talk about your selection number 1. It says, let's go ahead. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to come up here. So selection number 1 on psychology. This was the one on the obedience study. And so after you've read this, or if you need to pause it and read it now, you've seen vocabulary and context. When you're done, you're going to scroll down to the check your comprehension section and you're answering questions 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 15. So for instance, question 2 is a detail question. So it's kind of just asking you to go back and figure out those details. Number 3 is another detail question. Again, you can see like how detailed they are, like making sure that you go back and you find the correct answer. 4 is asking about just this one paragraph, the 3rd paragraph. What's the main idea for the 3rd paragraph? Like the following a good label or marginal annotation for that 3rd paragraph. So it relates to main idea, specifically topic. So you're looking at just that specific paragraph there. Number 6, again, kind of a similar question. 6th paragraph, what's kind of the topic? how would you label that particular section? Number 8, another detail question. And then number 15 is a true-false question. So you just scroll down there, is this true or false? Okay, so that's what you're answering for selection number 1. And that, again, goes under part 2A here. Part 2B, selection 2, this is on the selection that has to deal with the young person with autism. I think this is a really powerful story, actually, Life with Cooper. I really, really enjoy this story every time I read it with my classes. So after you're done reading this particular selection, it's not so much a check your comprehension question as it is a short answer question. And it even says, make sure you answer in at least 2 complete sentences. So it says, how do you think treatment of people with autism has changed in the past 10 years? And if you're not sure, you can do some Google searching, or you can kind of think about it, talk to someone you know, like, how do you think people with autism, their treatment has changed in the past 10 years? All right, and then finally, part C goes along with the very last selection. So I'll scroll. Part 3, selection 3. This is the one on using math, fighting violent gang crime with math. You saw your vocabulary in there already, hopefully. And then you are also going to go down to the check your comprehension section, and you're answering questions 2, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. So 2, a detail question, very specific. 6, another detail question. So a lot of these you just need to go back in the text and just kind of and verify it. 7, another detail question. 8, another detail question. Again, you can see how like minute these are, very specific detail questions. Number 10, another detail question. And then finally, number 12, another true false type question. All right, so just make sure you go back and you answer those. And then as always, when you are done, make sure that you save this, and make sure it's completed. It's saved with your changes. And then back inside Blackboard, you want to go ahead and put it in that Chapter 5 text and skill sheet Dropbox. All right, let's talk about your Chapter 5 vocabulary quiz. I'm going to close some of these as we finish them. All right, Chapter 5 vocabulary quiz. If you haven't already, please make sure you either watch the vocabulary video or you fill out your own study guide or whatever the case is. Remember, you do not have to turn in your vocabulary study guides. I do not grade those. Those are just for your purposes to help you review and get familiarized with the words. As I mentioned in the Chapter 5 vocabulary video, there is a Chapter 1 through 5 test. So, you know, hopefully you haven't just been kind of flying by the seat of your pants because you're going to have to revisit those words with the Chapter 1 through 5 test. All right, so let's go over Part A. So I know this is Chapter 5, but I am still seeing some issues with Part A in particular. So please keep in mind that most of the time, only one sentence is okay the way it is. So if you have the word correct written on all 5 lines, you're on the wrong track. You're on the entirely wrong train. So make sure that you are looking thoroughly to make sure that you are completing a corrected sentence. So most of the, I'm going to tell you right now, 4 of these are wrong. You need to correct them. So keep the underlined word the same. Do not take out the word hackers or vestibule or transfixed, mimics, or ominously. You can mimic, transfix, that's fine, but you want to keep the underlined word there. And then just adding the word not or don't or shouldn't or couldn't, those are all forms of the word not, does not fix the sentence. That only tells me you know how to write the word not in front of a word. Change something about the sentence. Twist it around, take some words out, add some words in. No one's going to do it the exact same way. Okay, so correct the sentence as they're using the word improperly. Part B, a short answer. Again, I'm still seeing people skip number 1 because they think it's done for them. It is not. So it starts it for you to kind of let you know, like, hey, here's a potential way to get this started. But answer the question. Go ahead and make sure you answer the short answer question. And then part C is fill in the blank. So make sure you just fill in the blank. And then also reread the sentence back to yourself with your chosen word in the blank to make sure it actually makes sense. Okay, and then, as I've said before, put it in the Dropbox. All right, now both of your practice sheets also have Dropboxes, so you have a place to download them, and then you have a Dropbox for them. So you have a main idea practice sheet and a supporting details practice sheet. So I'm going to pull up our main idea practice sheet, and you're going to see that there are 4 paragraphs, so not terribly many paragraphs here. Your job is to underline the topic in each paragraph. So I'm just going to get a chunk of words here. Highlight them. That's how you underline it, just in case. Okay, so you're underlining the topic in every single one. Remember from our lecture, a topic is a word or phrase. It is one word or phrase that tells you what the paragraph is about. It is not a full sentence. So I should not see any full sentences underlined. Topics are one word or phrase. Then go ahead and type the main idea on the line. A main idea is a complete sentence. Complete sentence. Okay, so a main idea is not just one word or a couple of words. It's a full sentence. It tells me what we're supposed to be learning about the topic. Okay, so you find the topic, and then who or what is this author telling me about this? Like, what am I supposed to be knowing about this topic? Is a complete sentence. It doesn't start with the word how, because how is a question word. It's not a fragment. It is not very specific. It is a general overview. Okay, so underline the topic in every paragraph. Write the main idea on the, or write the main idea, type the main idea. You get the gist on every line. There's only 4. Sometimes the main idea might be implied, meaning the author has not given the main idea to you. They've given you clues. They've given you hints. They've kind of talked about it, talked around it, but it's not there word for word. You have to put it into your own words. Sometimes the author may have already put it right there, directly stated in the paragraph, and that's when you can just type the exact wording on the line. Okay, so when you're done with that, you will put that in the Dropbox. All right, now let's talk about your supporting details. Oh, I don't want to say that. Let's talk about your supporting details practice sheet. Okay, so it has a reminder. Major details provide a brand new piece of information on the main idea. So you still have to find the main idea. Okay, you still have to find the main idea. So in all of these, it's asking you to underline the main idea. So again, like whatever you choose it to be, underline. So find the main idea. Then major details provide a brand new piece of information on the main idea. They tell you a little bit more. They're a little bit more specific. Minor details are the most specific sentences of a paragraph. Okay? Major details provide new reasons, examples, tips, whatever the case might be. Minor details go into more details, like they could almost be piggybacked off of. They can almost be attached to the major details. So main idea, most general idea. Major detail provides a brand new piece of information about the main idea. Minor details go into the most specific, kind of detail-oriented information. So in these sentences, you'll see A, B, C, D, E, and I'll talk to you about E in just a minute. A, B, C, D, E, you're going to find the main idea and underline it in every single one of them. Then it says circle the major details. So if you are comfortable doing so, if you want to do like an insert and you want to do a shape, and you want to do a circle, you're welcome to. And if you want to, move it to the back or whatever. If that's too much for you, totally get it. Go ahead and just highlight. Go ahead and just highlight whatever you feel the major details are. Okay, so still underline the main idea and then either circle or highlight the major details. Okay, so if you think sentence 3 is a major detail, just make sure you take the whole sentence, you highlight it, or you circle it or circle the number there, okay? The minor details you're going to leave alone. You don't have to do anything to the minor details. You're doing that for paragraphs A, B, C, D. Paragraph E, this is where you're kind of allowing me to see how well you're understanding this, because you're going to be doing some writing, and there's such a large connection between reading and writing that it allows you to practice these concepts. So it says create your own paragraph. So a paragraph is about 5 to 7 sentences. I'm not looking for like multiple pages or anything. You're going to have one clear main idea. So I want you to directly state your main idea somewhere, whether it's the first sentence, the last sentence. Make sure it includes your topic. Then you have to include at least 2 major details and 2 minor details. Obviously, you're going to have more because you need to have, unless you strict right there, but you can have more. So if you want to do like 3 of each, you could, but use our signal words that we talked about in our lecture video. Use your signal words like first, second, for example, such as, to help guide or structure your paragraph. It can be on any topic of your choice. I just want to see how well you're understanding this, and putting it into writing can be helpful for that purpose. When you're done, you'll drop it in your Dropbox. All right, let's talk about a couple more things. You have 2 mastery skills for this week: identifying topics and main ideas and identifying supporting details. So 2 topics that went right along. So in both of these, when you click in, you'll have post-test 1, post-test 2. You'll see in both of these, post-test 1 has some multiple choice questions, like kind of going over the basics of the concepts, and then it's actually going to have some selections for you to read and find the main idea. If you don't do well on post-test 1, you could go in and look at post-test 2. Post-test 2, you're going to see jumps right into finding the main ideas. They're all asking you about main ideas. Okay, so it is totally up to you which one you take. If you want to take 1 and then 2, or 2 and then 1, or you don't have to take both of them. You do well in the 1, do not worry about post-test 2. If you do not do well in post-test 1, you want to take post-test 2, that's fine. Your highest score will be kept. The highest of the 2 will be kept, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. And then the other one you're doing is identifying supporting details. So very similarly, when you go in here, you've got some multiple choice questions, and then it's going to ask you to actually read some paragraphs and do some identifying of the different details. That's post-test 1, and then you have post-test 2, which is going to work in a similar way. Okay? All right, so please make sure you get those done this week as well. I am keeping track of everyone as they're working on their mastery skills, because I don't want us to get to week 7 and you only have 1 or 2 done. You cannot pass this class without your mastery skills completed. Okay? This is where you can find them here. They're also obviously embedded in our week, which is where I just got them from. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was your extra practices. There's a folder for extra practices right here. When you click in here, main ideas and supporting details practices, there's one for main ideas, there's one for minor supporting details. And it's going to pull up basically a packet that I would normally have like available, where it's going to have, you know, practice 1 all the way down to practice 5. You're going to see your homework actually embedded in here. Obviously, if you're doing this, you don't have to do that twice. You don't have to do this at all. It's completely voluntary. It's just if you want a little bit more practice and you want some feedback. If you do this, go ahead and just save it and send it to me via email attachment, and I can give you some feedback on it. The same thing with the supporting details practice packet. Let me get into the actual packet here. Here we go. So there's a lot in here. It's set up. Again, your homework will be in here, so you don't have to do that twice or anything. But you are welcome to do this to get some feedback. And the reason I do that is because this chapter is very important. It's really integral to understanding a lot of the other chapters. And so I like to provide those extra practices if you would like to do so and take advantage of that. All right, just because there is a lot, real quick recap. You are posting in your week 4 discussion board by Wednesday, the 29th. Then you are completing the text and skill sheet, chapter 5 vocabulary quiz, main idea practice sheet, and supporting details practice sheet. All of those are due by Sunday, July 3rd. I also highly recommend getting these 2 mastery skills done this week. Please reach out if you have any questions. Bye.